The starting point of this article is the paradoxical situation of Eurosceptic members of the European Parliament. As evidenced in May 2014, most Eurosceptic parties achieved their greatest success during European elections, but once elected, they have to operate within an institution and more generally a political system they strongly criticize or even oppose. And although there is an extensive literature on Euroscepticism, most research concentrates on the national level. There are few studies on Eurosceptic members of the European Parliament, their attitudes and behaviors. So the aim of this paper is to contribute filling in this gap by examining the strategies developed by Eurosceptics in the European Parliament. I seek to determine how they conceive and carry out their representative mandate, but also to reflect on the implications of their presence for the Parliament and the European Union. To study the strategies of Eurosceptics, I draw on the insights of role theory, and more particularly of the approach developed by Donald Searing in his study of the House of Commons. The concept of role is defined as a dynamic configuration of interrelated goals, attitudes and core behaviors that are characteristics of people in particular positions. This concept provides an understanding of what actors do, why they do it, and why they think it's appropriate to act this way rather than another. Following this approach, I used a qualitative and inductive methodology to develop a typology of roles played by Eurosceptic MEPs. I concentrate on the individual level to understand the actor's point of view, and I use three main types of data. First, I conducted interviews with a sample of Eurosceptic MEPs, as well as with parliamentary assistants and staff members. Second, their parliamentary activities were analyzed to determine their priorities and the way in which they invest their time and resources. And finally, I attended the meetings of two Eurosceptic groups for 6 months to observe groups' dynamic. All these elements were combined to develop a typology of 4 roles or 4 strategies available to Eurosceptic MEPs. The first one is the absentee, the second one is the public orator, the third one is the pragmatist, and finally, the last strategy is the participant. The last part of the paper examines the implications of the presence of such dissenting voices for the European Parliament, and argue that rather than endangering European integration, the presence of Eurosceptics in the European Parliament and the roles they play might be an asset. Indeed, their presence increases the European Parliament's representativeness, and the roles they play contribute to the politicization of European Union issues. So the presence of an anti-system opposition within the European system helps alleviate the European Union's democratic deficit. You will find more information on this paper, as well as on the special issue on Euroscepticism, on the website of the International Political Science Review.